Welcome to the Church Law Tax Tips from a Pro video series. Today we'll be discussing sabbatical plans with CPA and author Elaine Sommerville. So let's jump right in.
With a sabbatical plan, what should a church not include as far as how they structure?
What a church should not include is a thought process that all the expenses incurred during the sabbatical are going to be church expenses. So in other words, whatever the minister wants to do, he wants to travel, he wants to go study someplace, he's going to take the family to the mountains for a month, whatever, wherever they go, that automatically, because it's a sabbatical, which we think of differently than a vacation, in most churches, they're two different programs, means that because we made them go on the sabbatical, whatever they spend on the sabbatical is a business expense, and it's not. And so that's one of the issues we really address, we addressed in the book, which actually the chapter in the book was also previous to that, Matt, was an article for CT and about sabbaticals. And so sabbatical plans need to be thought out, and they need to be looked at the fact of when would a minister be okay to incur business expenses on that sabbatical that could be reimbursed or paid for, and when would expenses not be sabbatical expenses that were business expenses and therefore taxable to the minister. So for instance, as part of the sabbatical, we're going to require the minister to attend this week-long conference in Palm Springs. The conference that he's going to go to the conference, it's a sabbatical to reconnect with his family. So we want wife and children to go with him. We want them to go with them. We tell him to take his wife and children. Well, the conference may be a business expense for the minister, but the fact just that we wanted family time for him, so we told him to take wife and children, does not make wife and children's expenses business expenses. Those are personal expenses. Unless we're going to require wife and children to attend the conference for their own church work, but let's say they're not. And so that's where you may have a mixture. So a lot of times what I see in sabbaticals is a mixture that people don't recognize up front between what's going to be taxable to the minister and what's not going to be taxable to the minister. And that's where the most thought process needs to go in ahead of time. Otherwise, the ministers end up with unexpected taxable income added for various things. And the IRS has also said the fact that you need to go someplace else to pray and plan is not necessarily a business expense.
What I appreciate too with this, Elaine, is that a lot of this is just about communication. You're talking about wanting to understand what is or isn't covered up front, so you can have that conversation with the pastor before they go forward with the sabbatical or the time away. Because again, what you're trying to avoid is that unexpected surprise later and potentially an unpleasant conversation about the tax ramifications of what can't be covered.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to visit our website every week or subscribe to our YouTube channel to access every tip in this series. We also invite you to explore Elaine's latest edition of Church Compensation for even more tips just like this.